One of the things that I have to admit I'm having a lot of trouble getting around is the idea that this entire thing is coming about because the President and the administration have decided that Canada, Canadian steel and aluminum is a national security threat to the United States. It's quite frankly insulting and unacceptable.
Justin Trudeau speaking out in an interview with Meet the Press that aired this morning, just days after the U.S. announced it's slapping a 25% tariff on steel and a 10% tariff on aluminum imports from its allies, Canada, the EU, and Mexico. And Canada already hitting back, announcing retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. on mostly consumer products, things like whiskey and orange juice. But I want to share another part of that interview where our Prime Minister's answer to a question is, I don't know.
What do you feel as if the President wants from you in putting these tariffs out?
I don't know.
You don't know what he wants here. You don't
I know.
I know.
Well, the reason I don't know is because he's talked about the fact of this. He's worried about trade surpluses, trade deficits around the world. Well, they have a $2 billion surplus on steel with us. So it's not like the trade is imbalanced against the U.S. favor on this one.
Foreign Affairs Minister Chrystia Freeland also appearing on U.S. media today and also questioning Washington's national security threat rationale for the tariffs.
I think what it's important for Americans to understand is the justification under your rules for the imposition of these tariffs was a national security consideration. So what you are saying to us and to all of your NATO allies is that we somehow represent a national security threat to the United States. And I would just say to all of Canada's American friends, and there are so many, seriously? Do you really believe that Canada, that your NATO allies represent a national security threat to you?
We think it's absurd to consider Canada a security risk to the United States.
Finance Minister Bill Morneau echoing the same message as talks wrapped up with his group of 7 counterparts in Whistler this weekend.
Where we've taken a targeted and considered approach to retaliation. Our goal is to convince the United States to move back from these tariffs.
I've already spoken to President Trump and reflected some of the comments and look forward to speaking to him more when I get back.
A response to Trudeau's comments coming today from White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow on Fox News today. He says our Prime Minister is overreacting, and he's describing this trade friction between Canada and the U.S. as a family squabble. And now expect to hear a lot more about all of this. That's because Canada is hosting the G7 summit starting this Friday in Quebec.